Hello, bitches, besties, and bros, and welcome to episode 2 of Dumb Bitch Fitness. Thank you so much for listening or watching to episode 1. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it now. It is supposed to be on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and Deezer, I think. Is that the other one? Oh boy. Girl doesn't even know her own podcast. But it is 110% on Spotify and YouTube. YouTube is the only one I personally have control over because I use a distribution platform for the other platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. That's the other one. Maybe Deezer also. Yes, it's on Deezer also. I don't know one person who uses Deezer, but if you are that one person, go for it. So, a little housekeeping. First and foremost, the way that it looked like that whole episode was sponsored by Ghost Energy because I set my can I just happened to be drinking so perfectly in frame. Keep in mind, I don't even have a viewfinder on the camera I use, so I had no idea that the logo was literally placed perfectly in frame and facing towards the camera, so I just thought that was really funny. But I thought I'd keep the trend going, and right now I'm drinking a Raise energy drink. Well, I haven't yet. I'm going to open it. Actually, I think I do want a Ghost energy drink. Those are my favorite. So, Ghost, send some over. I will happily place you in frame. All right, I'm going to give you guys some ASMR. Here we go. How'd that sound? I hit the mic like twice. This is cherry limeade. So fire. It's a newish flavor. But tell me how I went to Vitamin Shop today, right? I spent $55 on just energy drinks. That's all I got. Tell me why I'm trying to educate the Vitamin Shop workers as I'm checking out. I go, you guys have all the Ghost energy flavors except cherry limeade. They were like, oh, they did not care, but I did. So I stopped at 7-Eleven on the way to my studio to get one. It was funny because I told my boyfriend that I just happened to place it directly in frame, and I made an Instagram post about, or not post, a story post about it and tagged them in it, and he was like, yeah, okay. They're gonna just think that you put it like that on purpose. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but I didn't. But I will. Today I'm going to be talking about good foods versus bad foods, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, I am putting good foods and bad foods in quotation marks. Emphasis on the quotation marks, because once I stopped labeling foods as good versus bad, my whole outlook and relationship with food changed for the better, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because food is just food. And it is actually very sad to me, and it just blows my mind that as a society we have demonized literally one of our basic needs as human beings. So before I get into it, I want to settle a debate. It's not a debate, but I just want to know which type of person you are, because there are two types of people in this world when it comes to food. It doesn't really have to do with good food versus bad food. Well, good food versus bad food in the aspect of good food or expired food. So there are two types of people in this world. The first type of person won't even eat leftovers that have sat out on the counter for 2 hours, even if it's like a slice of pizza. They think it's spoiled, rotten, can't be eaten. Then there's a second type of person, which I am, which I don't think I will be anymore because of what happened to me yesterday or 2 days ago. But their second type of people are the people who will risk it for the biscuit. I don't know if that's an inappropriate phrase. Pretend I did not say that. But I will literally eat food that has sat out for multiple hours, something that like was supposed to be refrigerated after opening, but I didn't. If it's like a sauce, I'm not talking like mayo or anything like that, but something that's expired but hasn't been open yet, something that's been expired but smells fine, chicken that has been cooked and refrigerated but is like over a week old. Like, I will eat that shit. I don't care. It just is what it is. It is how I am. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore, because the other day at work, I opened the fridge. I'm eating my buffalo chicken nuggets that I made, and I see that there's honey mustard, and I'm like, honey mustard would be fabulous with my macro-friendly buffalo chicken nuggets I made. So I see it's unopened, and now that I'm like imagining it and thinking about it, I've definitely seen this bottle of honey mustard in there for a long time. Don't know whose it is. It was unopened, but I looked at the expiration date and it expired in May of 2022. And keep in mind, it's January 2023. So why did I think something that was 8, 9, probably like 6 to 8 months expired? Not even old, expired. Why did I think it'd be good? I don't know. Well, I'll tell you why I thought it'd be good. I thought it'd be good because it was refrigerated. It hadn't been opened yet, so I was willing to risk it for some fucking honey mustard. But I will in fact not be doing that anymore, because it was in fact expired, and you know how this goes. It was not very good, and it kind of ruined my day. But it's fine. I'm fine. It was just like a little spurt of running to the bathroom for about like 2-3 hours, and I did it to myself, so I couldn't complain. But back to the subject. Well, actually, I want to know which type of person you are. So slide in my Instagram DMs. Tell me something that you've eaten that was questionable, or something, or like how you will literally not even eat something if it doesn't expire for another like 2 weeks. I want to know what type of person you are, because I can't be alone in this, right? Right? Maybe I am. Maybe there's just one type of person and then me. Let's get back on topic though. So good foods versus bad foods. Where did this stigma come from that there are quote unquote good foods and bad foods? Well, I think it is just another umbrella topic of diet culture as a whole. And I used to be a huge believer in there's good foods like salads, fruits and vegetables, and there's bad foods, which is like pizza, burgers, and the good foods are the foods that make you skinny, and the bad foods are the foods that make you fat. I hate to break it to you, but you can eat salads, healthy fats, quote unquote, that is a different topic for a different day. Healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts and seeds, sweet potatoes, all day long, and you can still gain weight from them. Likewise, you can eat things like burgers and French fries and pizza, and if you're still eating less than your body requires in a day, I'm talking like calories wise, you are going to lose weight. So this is what I said in episode 1. It's not always what you eat, it's how much you eat. And when I learned this, my life changed dramatically, because this is the reason why you eat salads when you're dieting and you eat quote unquote clean and you just can't seem to lose weight. It's because just because you're eating quote unquote clean doesn't mean you're still in a caloric deficit. This is why I love the flexible dieting, tracking macros lifestyle, because once you learn that food is just food, all that food is carbs, fats, and proteins. For example, if you don't really get the idea of carbs, fats, and proteins, I'm going to break it down briefly for you. I'm going to do multiple episodes in the future on strictly macros, how to track them. But for now, let's break down the basics. So I'm 100% sure you know what a calorie is. So when you look on the back of a food, a drink, I'll grab my Ghost Energy drink to demonstrate. So this Ghost Energy drink has 10 calories. So if you're looking at the back of a protein bar, box of pasta, they all have a nutrient facts label, and it breaks down total fat, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates, protein, etc. So this is definitely not the best example because it only has 2 grams of carbs, but every food is made up of calories, and all calories are made up of macronutrients, which are the fats, the carbohydrates, and the proteins. Now, I'm not going to get into details because, like I said, that's for future episodes. But at the end of the day, any and everything you eat is just carbs, fats, and proteins. Once you learn that literally anything you consume is made out of just fats, carbs, and proteins, it's a different combination and ratio of those macronutrients, your life's going to change, because I know mine did. It made dieting, building muscle, living life, being social, going out and eating, it made everything just carbs, fats, and proteins. It's just food. At the end of the day, it's just fucking food. Now let me give you some examples of quote unquote healthy foods and meals versus quote unquote bad and unhealthy meals, and how they literally break down to fats, carbs, and proteins. So let's start off with the typical bodybuilder quote unquote healthy meal, which is chicken, broccoli, rice. We've all heard it. We've all seen it. We've all thought that's what we have to eat to get shredded, right? Because that's what the bodybuilders do. Well, why do they eat this? It is quite simply the most simple and easiest version of carbs, fats, and proteins, and it is a great balance of them. Let's do chicken, broccoli, rice, avocado for the sake of adding some fats in. So the chicken in this meal is protein. The carbs come from the rice, and the broccoli is more for micronutrients. They do contain a little bit of carbs and a little bit of protein, but they're usually there for the point of micronutrients, which is a topic of its own, but basically micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, fiber. That's really why you see the broccoli. It's for the micronutrients, the benefit of health. And then the avocado is fat. Now let's take a slice of pizza. The bread or crust is carbs. The sauce and the veggies on top are some more carbs and micronutrients. The cheese is fat. And say you have pepperoni on your pizza. Now, pepperoni isn't a very lean source of protein, but pepperoni, for the sake of this, protein with a little bit of fat. So as you can see, chicken, broccoli, rice, and a slice of pizza, they all break down to carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, does the pizza have a higher ratio of fat than the chicken, rice, and broccoli? 100%. But at the end of the day, it is all just food. If you're watching this on YouTube, the quality probably just changed because my camera died, so I had to switch to my iPhone camera. If you're just listening to this, you have no idea what happened, so sorry for the cutoff, but back to what I was saying. So, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, well, actually no, people just view foods as good and bad for the sake of thinking that one will make them fat and one will make them skinny, which obviously is not correct, but in my opinion, the quote-unquote good foods are the whole foods, the nutrient-dense foods, your fruits, your vegetables, your foods that have one ingredient in them, and then your bad foods are the processed foods, the greasy foods, the prepackaged foods, the foods that have a list of 100 ingredients, you know. And this is why I hate when people say, I don't know how to eat healthy. Yes, you do. You know you're supposed to be eating more fruits and vegetables and high fiber foods, but the media has twisted it, and yes, you've been eating quote unquote clean, but you've still been eating too much. Or like what I used to do, I would just restrict so much that I would end up binging on the pizzas, the burgers and fries, the Oreos, because I was so restricted from that. Now, I know that an Oreo is literally just carbs and some fat. When I've eaten clean probably 80% of the day, I had some gummy bears after lunch because I wanted some more carbs or a sweet treat. I know in my mind that's just a few more grams of carbs in my day. God forbid, right? No, I'm just kidding. But moral of the story, food is just food. You have to look at the big picture of your life. Not one food is going to make you gain weight. Not one macronutrient is going to make you gain weight. If I were to only eat carbs for a whole entire month, I'm talking just plain pasta, potatoes, rice, bagels, you name it, just purely carbs. And I was eating in a caloric deficit, meaning I was eating less calories than my body required. I would lose weight, and so would you. So how come people think that carbs are the reason that's making them fat? It's because people think that a bowl full of pasta with a fettuccine Alfredo dish from Olive Garden is all carbs. But it's not. It's a huge portion, first of all. So yes, a lot of carbs from the pasta. But then you have a very heavy cream sauce that is pure fat. And you'll learn in later episodes, if you don't already know, that fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient. So that combined with a portion size that is way too big, with the cream sauce that is a lot of fat, which means a lot of calories, and it probably equals the amount of calories you should be having in a day, especially if it's from somewhere like Olive Garden and Cheesecake Factory. In your mind, that bowl of pasta is just carbs, and that's why you're gaining weight, because you go to Olive Garden, say, every other day for lunch at work. Is it the carbs? No, it's the huge portion of a bowl of pasta, of carbs and fat. And you have no protein, so you're not building muscle, but that's a different story for a different episode. But this is my point. There's not one food that's going to make you fat, and there's not one food that's going to make you skinny. On the other hand, if I took a month and I only ate quote unquote clean, healthy foods, sweet potatoes, broccoli, grilled chicken, healthy fats like avocado and olive oil, but I was eating too many calories that I needed, then I would gain weight, and so would you. It's not always what you eat, it's how much you eat. I hope that this helps simplify food for you a little bit more, kind of give you a more positive outlook on food, and hopefully can help your relationship with food. I'm definitely going to do episodes in the future of what to eat, how much to eat for your body and your goals. And I hope this undid a little bit of that diet culture you have ingrained in your brain, because I used to be that person, and I just hope that this helped you. Please share this with someone who still thinks carbs will make them fat and that eating a salad will make them skinny. I hope it gives you a new perspective on food, and thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for future episodes. I'm going to start posting every single Sunday, so share this with a friend, leave a 5-star rating, and I'll see you next time.